What do I think that they are a good team? Do I think there's a good team hidden in there? I'm getting less and less confident about that.
We're doing Thanksgiving talk tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's a big episode tomorrow. We'll do U.S. Thanksgiving check-in tomorrow. Do you actually consider, because as we look at it right now, all three of our teams are 500. Sabres, endearing. Bruins, derogatory. Mm-hmm. Oilers,
both.
And derogatory. Good, crazy both. Win against the Canucks, but like fucking derogatory. Like I'm not, I've said, not funny or cool, doing this thing again this year. So I'll let your team do it, and we can say the sky is falling. I'll definitely let your team do it because it's going to be doing it one way or another, so we might as well just accept it. The Bruins probably at this point will not be in a playoff position come U.S. Thanksgiving. Are you entertaining the idea that this could just be an actual lost season for the Bruins? Or are you, like me, kind of waiting for the spark of they're going to fire the coach, and even if he doesn't totally deserve it, which I don't think he does, but this could just be it's what you do. Did Jay Woodcroft deserve it? Last year, his team was just being a bunch of assholes. But are you entertaining the idea that they actually could miss the playoffs?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either way. I'm not overly worried about it right now, just based off of the Eastern Conference. Like, the Eastern Conference isn't overflowing with, damn, that's a really good team. And a lot of those teams are going to have their ups and downs. And the Bruins are I'm very confident in saying the Bruins are having their worst stretch of the season right at the beginning of the season. So things are going to be better from like maybe Friday on or whenever on. It may not be amazing, but even if it's average, I think they can get into the playoffs. What do I think that they are a good team? Do I think there's a good team hidden in there? I'm getting less and less confident about that.
Oh, I see. I'll be made to look dumb. They're very wonky right now. They are thin right now. They are slow right now. Spoiler alert. Come season's end, once everything's fixed, they're still going to be slow. Mm-hmm. But that's a good playoff roster still. Get to the playoffs.
So you're saying if they get to the playoffs, they have noise potential.
I just like, not necessarily, but like they're a playoff team. They're not going to get to the playoffs and get swept. I thought they would win a round this year, and the second round would be more competitive than it was last year, even though last year's second round was a lot more competitive than history will remember. We'll remember them as running into the Panthers and having absolutely no clue what to do with them. And while that was true, they still played close games with them.
Yeah.
And they still like could have won. I want to say it was
interference.
Game 4, right?
You
just
get
like
that
a bunch
interference call. Like, yeah, it could be a different series.
Was
but
it
like
Game 4 got away from them like really quick? But like before it did get away from them, like they had it. Like there was
but like that is true. But nobody looks back and being like, maybe the better team didn't win. Like the Panthers so much
absolutely
better
were
than them.
Yeah.
And I just think that like once they get to the playoffs, if they get there this year, you're gonna find out that the top of the Eastern Conference is just so much better than the fucking Bruins.
Someone in the chat says they suck. It's okay to say they stink.
They don't.
That is one of my core beliefs. It's okay to say they stink. And then if later they don't stink, then they don't stink anymore. But if we're doing an overall big picture, like right now, the Bruins beyond suck. Right now, the Bruins are unwatchable. The Bruins are dreadful right now.
Well, that's why we're having this conversation. There's a lot of teams in the league that fucking stink, that aren't interesting to talk about because they stink and they were expected to stink. The reason why we're talking about the Bruins so much is because maybe people expected their downfall in a previous 2 years or whatever, and people have been waiting for it. But there is no reason and no excuse as to why they stink so much right now.
Yeah, they didn't. When people thought the Bruins would fall off, they didn't think that it would look like this because they still have goaltending, they still have defense, and they still have at least one of the best scorers in the world. And at this point, we'll just say one of the best goal scorers in the world.
And I feel like a lot of the people that are saying like, well, what did you expect? The fall off of the Bruins has been coming for years at this point. Sure. But that tells me that you haven't really watched this team this year. Because if you had watched this team this year, you would want to rip your eyeballs out. You would say no team has been less interesting than this team. They are terrible.
We all silly like the mayor.